So today I'm going to talk to you about screen time and the rules I have with my kids pertaining to screens and how I let things fly in my house. Some people think I'm very, very strict. Other people feel the exact opposite. It's a little bit of both, honestly, that I feel, because while I do let my kids use their screens, I'm very strict about what they're allowed to be on, I suppose. So during the day, we try not to do any screens except for some schooling. So we utilize my signing time for a sign language curriculum. They watch that 3 to 5 days a week. However, my 2-year-old does watch that every single day of the week. Pretty much. 99% of the time, it's every single day of the week. So we do that almost every day. And then we also will go onto YouTube and look things up about, whatever it is we're learning about. So for instance, today we were reading about China, and there was this tiny little note that said they make tea in China or something, which opened up a whole can of worms about, well, how do you make tea? How do they process it? We watched a whole bunch of videos on that. We read a whole bunch on tea, and then we ended up making tea. So we do use a lot of YouTube. I did put the YouTube app on our TV in our room. So I just came in for a minute and then left. So we do a lot of that. Not hours a day. It can be 10 minutes to maybe a half an hour a day, not very much. So during the day, they don't get to go on and watch TV. Rainy days, however, we do always have popcorn and movie. It's just become a thing. And then also, okay, wait, before I get into that. So then, when they are allowed on their screens, none of my kids have social media. I don't think they're old enough to have social media yet. And hopefully by the time they are old enough, I'm hoping it'll not be so in your face all the time, but I doubt it. Okay. So none of my kids have social media. I do not allow them to just search on YouTube and watch whatever they want. I'm very, very protective of them. I'm so nervous about the child predator thing that this is where I become really strict. I'm not letting them do very much things. They do have kids' Facebook Messenger, and on that they're allowed to talk to a couple friends and then grandparents and my sister. So family and close friends. And then I also have that on my phone, and I'm allowed I can see when somebody's calling, I can see when they're calling somebody, I can see what's being sent back and forth, those kind of things. So each of my older two each have a Kindle Fire that's on. I did, within the last month, put Minecraft on their Kindles, but they've played it maybe a total of 3 hours. And honestly, they kind of forgot about it. But I do keep the Kindles in a box in our school. It's basically a big hutch that I just keep all of our school stuff in. I keep those in there. They do have to ask permission to use it. Our computer is in our bedroom, and the door is always open. Kids are not allowed to come in here. For a while, I was doing some typing. We haven't done that in a while. And then I was doing a few other school things on the computer. We haven't done basically anything because my computer has become very slow, that it's more of an annoyance than anything. So yeah, we're just very, very strict on what they're allowed to get on. Now here's the next part where me and my husband are kind of, we're at odds on where we feel is an appropriate amount of screen time. And fun screen time, not educational screen time. So in the morning, he thinks it's okay for the kids to watch, put on a TV show and watch it. And he thinks we should take advantage of it, which in some cases I definitely agree with. But he would like to have coffee together and not be interrupted, and screens are a great job at helping that. I don't want them on the screens in the morning because I feel like it sets my day up for failure. I feel like then it's just, I can just see a difference in them after they've watched a TV show in the morning, how they act for the rest of the day. So I wait for them to watch any fun things until after all of their schoolwork is done. Now, we're usually done with school 2 o'clock p.m., usually. Every once in a while, we'll have a few things afterwards, but not very often. And depending on the weather outside, I'll let them, I usually put on like some kind of documentary. So like, for instance, right now while I'm making this, they're watching a chimpanzee movie. Every once in a while, like when a fun new movie comes out and they're obsessed with it, like Zombies 2 just came out. I don't know how many times we've watched that already. Every once in a while they'll watch that. I do make it dependent on how well they did their schoolwork, how much fighting there's been. I don't know if they've caught on to that, but that's what I do. Whether or not that's okay, I don't know, but that's what I do. Other than that, we'll turn the TV off again at 3 o'clock when nap time's over, or whenever the babies wake up. And then they can put it back on again. They can put the TV on again. About 5 o'clock, weather dependent. So for instance, right now it is March. Winter is just ending. This is when the bulk of our screen time happens. I just got rid of Disney Plus. I got rid of Hulu. I did get rid of Amazon Prime, but then I got it back 2 days later. Not because we missed the screens, but because I need the music on my Alexa. So we ended up getting that back. So we do have Amazon Prime, but we don't have Netflix, we don't have Hulu, we don't have Disney Plus. I got rid of all those because it's starting to get nice out. Now next winter, we'll get them back again. We don't have cable, but at 5 o'clock, I'm usually starting supper. They can turn on a show and watch it until supper time. And then after supper, everything gets cleaned up depending on what they choose to do. Lately, there's been a lot of taking the cushions off the couches and building forts, so they haven't even asked for the TV. But if they did ask, I would say yes. Yeah, Friday nights, we always have a family movie and ice cream night on Friday nights. Every single Friday, that's what we do. And then, honestly, on Saturdays, it's a free-for-all. You can watch as much screens as you want. And I'm okay with it, honestly. It's okay. So those are my rules. Like I said, some people think I'm really, really strict, and some people think I'm too lenient. I honestly think it's a mix of both. I am very lenient on how much screen time I allow, because educational screen time, I don't really have a set limit for. Fun screen time, I do. And once again, I'm very strict on what they're allowed to be on and those kinds of things. So those are my screen time rules. Let me know if maybe I haven't even thought of something that I need to either start worrying about or be more lenient about. What are your